If you watched my recent videos from my vacation in Asia, you may have noticed that they ended pretty abruptly. I wish I could say that I was having such an amazing time I simply didn't have enough time to edit, but the truth of the matter is I got sick. And not only did I get sick, I did it to myself in a really dumb way. See, the night before I left Laos to go back to Bangkok, to have the last couple of days before flying back home, I played with a dog. Not just any dog, an outside dog. And then, of course, we were outside at a barbecue, and I didn't wash my hands before having dinner. I know, that's really gross, really reckless, really dumb. Well, I paid for it. All that night and into the next day, I was paying for it, both in the bathroom and in my head. I'm pretty sure I gave myself giardia. Look it up if you don't know what it is, but essentially, traveler's diarrhea. So, long story short, my last few days in Asia were pretty much a blur. This boiled chicken and rice dish was the only solid food I was able to eat on my last day in Bangkok. I am not joking. So, on that very last day, with over 20-something hours in the air ahead of me, I knew I had to do something. Now, I had already skipped a bunch of stuff I wanted to do, so I headed to the mall. I figured maybe I could hunt down some Pepto-Bismol or some Imodium or something that would make me feel better. To be honest, I was so out of it, I didn't even think about trying to go to the doctor. This is me sitting at a Chester's drinking a Coke Zero with a bunch of ice, trying to figure out my game plan. I ended up at a Boots pharmacy, and surprisingly, it was a very professional clinical experience. Unlike at pharmacies in the States, a pharmacist in Thailand can prescribe medication on the spot. So, the person who I thought was just a vendor turned out to be a full-time pharmacist. When I asked her about some Pepto-Bismol or Imodium, she sat me down in a private area and we talked about my symptoms. She asked about my medical history, my allergies, and she recommended these 2 items. She filled the items on the spot and answered my questions after I looked them up. It was all over in about 20-30 minutes. And the coolest thing about all of this, it cost $3.57. No joke.
And drink.
Okay. And then I'm flying home tomorrow. Should I get 2 packets?
2 packets.
One for today, one for tomorrow? Okay. So here's a brief rundown on what I was given. The first thing was a packet of Oreta RO electrolyte powder. You mix it with water and drink it sort of like homemade Gatorade. Part of the reason why I was getting such bad headaches was because I was severely dehydrated. When you have diarrhea, you expel a lot of excess fluid, and you have to keep drinking to make it up. The second prescription was for Colofac tablets, which are an IBS medication. They're for spastic constipation, nervous diarrhea, basically GI issues. The directions for these were to take them about 20 minutes before each meal in order for things to be able to settle down. And they worked like a charm. This whole episode was just so embarrassing and I felt so dumb for getting sick. I almost didn't tell you guys about it. But then I realized maybe I can help somebody in the future. See, the thing about traveling in predominantly Buddhist countries is that you'll see tons of stray dogs and cats everywhere, even in restaurants. This little guy sat by my feet the entire time as I ate in a restaurant in Laos. So even if it's a family member's outside dog, say, don't play with him without washing your hands because you don't know what they've been rolling around in. And then, knock on wood, if you do get sick, make your way to the nearest pharmacy. Have your medication list, your medical history on hand, and use Google Translate if you have to. Bottom line, don't be a big old dummy like me and waste your last little bits of vacation because you're embarrassed. I have several more Thailand and Laos videos to come, so I'm sorry that they're late. Drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you think. Have you ever gotten sick on a trip? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear from you.